Self-critique or what?
Crunching your way to a healthier new you.
This is a great idea. Too bad you have it.
David Meltzer hosts 2-Minute Drill.
I don't know what you're doing. Am I supposed to be on here? All right. Sorry. I don't think this is going. So hold on 1 second, everyone. We'll be bringing on everybody. Give you your questions right here live. There we go. All right. So Q&A, remember, you can download this on the Playbook, share it, like it. Let's get to the questions. We'll start with one here. Bring somebody on, Jake, for Clubhouse. I'll answer a quick question. Can you practice being perceptive, or is it something that you learn to do as time goes? Well, learning through time is one aspect of being perceptive or intuition. But intuition, I have a special practice that I utilize for perception and for intuition. When I'm traveling, I stare at the seats in front of me and see if I can get the people to move. I get to see if they can actually turn around. So you can actually practice perceptive intuition and also allow yourself to learn as time goes. All right, who do we have as our first person and for a question to come on? Scott? There we go. Andrew.
David.
Hello?
Go ahead. Andrew's fine.
Hey, sorry. All right, cool. Hey, Andrew, you got a question? I'll do Scott next.
Hi. Yes. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to know what your thoughts are about managing your financial wealth and happiness. So let's say you are building your financial wealth, but there's something that brings you a lot of happiness, but it impacts your financial wealth while you're on the build-up. How do you go about dissecting that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So weighted balance, first of all. So people try to get everything at once. You have to understand a weighted balance of your personal expectation, your experiential expectation, your giving expectation, and your receiving expectation. And you need to weight that each and every day. Don't be afraid of being a hypocrite and changing your mind. But moreover, I try to spend as much time learning to love what I'm doing. So I have a rule. If I don't like something, if I don't love something, I'm going to get better at learning to love it, learning to like it. And if I can't, I am going to get rid of it, either get someone else to do it or not do it at all and change my direction or my trajectory. A lot of people try to force things and they feel, this idea of happiness. Well, I'd only be happy if, or I'll be happy when, or 80% of the things I do make me happy, but this 20% things suck. I learn to love the suck. I learn and practice my perception of the suck in order to find the light, the love, and the lessons in the suck to like it or love it even more. And I use gratitude to do that. One, gratitude, finding what it is I can love about it. I use an example of taking out the trash. I hated taking out the trash. Always had to take out the trash. If I took out the trash and it had glass in it, it would cut me. If it had liquid in it, it would spill on me, always at the worst time. But I looked to find the light in taking out the trash. I decided, gosh, you know what? If I take the trash out, I'll have time to think about things. I can use it as meditative, reflective time to think about what I want in my life to make me happy. So my not only perception of taking out the trash changed, but also my energy changed in taking out the trash, even to the point where my kids would never touch the trash. It was like kryptonite to them that they actually felt the shift in the energy, and they would actually ask me, hey, do you want me to take that out for you? So, wow, treat the things that you don't love or like, as I did trash, and find the light, the love, and the lessons. Learn to love what you're doing. Have a weighted balance of the personal, experiential, giving, and receiving parts of what you're looking at, and you'll find that you'll have far less resistance in your life, far less void, shortages, and obstacles, and things will come more rapidly and accurately. Does that sound fair, Andrew?
Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're amazing. All right. I'm going to answer a quick question. And Scott, come on, Scott Kelsey, unmute yourself. I have a quick question on online. How do you deal with a boss that is too controlling? appreciate the boss. People complain about micromanaging, Scott, as well. And I'm always like, that means your boss cares about you. And that the last thing I want is my boss not to care and to ignore me and not to pay attention to me. So if my boss is too controlling, I'm listening and seeing what they're trying to teach me, because I know they have an extreme interest in me and I have value in the company, and I take it for what it is. I think too many people create a resistance when a boss is trying to help them. All right, Scott, you're up, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, David. It's an honor to be on the same call with you. It really is. Did the fact that I didn't know who David Meltzer was up until about 6 months ago when I saw you on a chat with my good buddy Glenn Marsden just reinforces the fact that I had my head in the sand for a long, long time.
Oh, you're too kind.
So I love seeing everything, and it's coming from the heart. And it's true. And I literally got the reminder that you on, and I jumped on. I'm doing this mortgage thing right now, and have a couple other things, and obviously not promoting myself, but as an ex-athlete and who played some in the minor leagues and has had a fairly successful mortgage career, I suffered a traumatic brain injury 2 or 3 years ago. So it's been a journey, and getting to know myself, and everything that you say speaks to me dearly, and I love it. Thanks for your kindness, for sharing. And if I had to ask a question, I would ask this: when can we meet, or can you speak with my wife? And I love my wife, and I will love her to death, and my kids. But the one thing you said in terms of gratitude is that's the major shift. And unfortunately, it took a traumatic experience for me, almost losing my life. But I've shifted mentally, and I listen to as much as I can of your stuff now, David, and try to catch whatever I can from a get to versus have to.
Yeah.
And you said it. I have to take out the trash. I have to do this versus I get to. And that's a long, long story. It took up a lot of time. I'm so grateful I had the pop up, and I'm so glad I got to share with you my desire to be more like you every day.
Oh, I appreciate that. And look, anybody out there, I got all kinds of free things, exercises, books, guides. I got private groups and one-on-one stuff I can help with. Just reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com. Have your wife, your family, your friends. I answer everything myself, maybe a bit cryptic sometimes, but it will be me. And I am here to be of service. And Scott, I know you'll be one of my 1,000 to help empower over 1 billion people to be happy. And I know all the challenges that you faced in the past made you who you are, just like the challenges I face have made me who I am. And I look back on only the light, the love, and the lessons from that challenge. And I know you do the same. So keep sharing, keep expanding and growing. And please reach out, david@dmeltzer.com. Awesome. I got, I think Ben, you're up next. Let me answer a quick question online while we get Ben up. How do you separate attacking thoughts from self-defense in your mind? They're both the same. So if you have attacking thoughts of any kind, even in their discriminative upon being self-defense, they're still attacking thoughts. And so what we want to do is find peace within our thoughts. We want to determine no vengeance in our thoughts, no judgments, conditions, or attacks, even if we feel as if we're being attacked. I always say being vulnerable is being invulnerable. So allow yourself to be forgiving. Don't look upon things as attacks, look upon them as lessons, and especially do not justify your own attacks as being self-defense. All right, cool. I'm ready for you, Ben. You got a question for me?
Yes. Hey, David. Thanks for having me. Jake, thanks for having me as well. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm Ben Schreiber. And my question has to do with maintaining your positivity on a daily basis. So for the past year, I've been running a digital marketing agency helping e-commerce brands, both on paid and organic, to help grow their revenue and brand awareness. And so with that, daily is basically a roller coaster of emotions. You gain a client, you lose a client, something breaks, and basically every day there's a lot of positive and emotions and a lot of negative emotions. And my goal for 2021 is to just be more positive and think more positive thoughts on a daily basis. But so the question is like, how do you maintain your consistency and making sure that like you're holding yourself accountable for, fixing your negative thoughts and then reconfirming your positive thoughts as well?
Yeah, I think putting it into the context of time helped me a lot, Ben. So what does that mean? Everyone's going to have ego-based consciousness. Everyone's going to have the what I call fear in their life, meaning primary fears like to flee, to fight, to the food, to starve, or even the F word, to procreate. And then even worse, where we waste our lives, and I mean this, we waste all the time, emotion, energy, relationships, and money is in the need to be right, the need to be offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful. And so what I do is I put time as a variable in there, and I almost have a self competition of, hey, you know what? I've wasted days, weeks, months, and years of my life with a need to be offended, for example. And why don't I try to diminish the amount of time that I have that need? So instead of spending days, weeks, months, and years, my goal is to spend minutes and moments. And in order to do that, I've come up with a creature. It's called a ferocious Buddha. And the ferocious Buddha has 4 skill sets. The first one is to identify the fear, primary or secondary fear. So a ferocious Buddha says, wait a second, I'm super pissed. Wait a second, why am I screaming? Why am I sad? Why am I worried? Why am I resentful, offended? Why am I separate, inferior, superior? Why am I not worthy? And then instead of resisting it, accelerating in the wrong direction, trying to go over, around it, through it, under it, oversell it, back end sell it, lie to it, manipulate to it, cheat it, instead just simply stop like a Buddha and drop. And I'm going to say something that's counterintuitive to everyone. Drop down to your higher self. What does that mean? When I know that my higher self is my neutrality, is my center, I'm actually trying to use my free will to drop down to my center, to my neutral, to my higher self by breathing simply through my nose and through my mouth, breathing in my nose, out through my mouth to get to peace, to center, to really identify that powerful source that I'm connected to of light, love, and lessons at all time. So why? So I can roll like a ferocious Buddha in the right direction. And we all know that when you're in these ego type emotions, when you are wasting your time, energy, emotion, and relationships and money, that your mind, body, and soul are on fire. To remind yourself to be a ferocious Buddha, remember, when you're on fire, you need to stop, drop, and roll. Challenge yourself to spend minutes and moments in ego instead of days, weeks, months, and years, and you'll experience acceleration, growth, compound interest of the positive in your life, not the negative.
That's great. Love that. Thanks, Dave.
You're amazing, man. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate you. I'll take a quick question online and bring up Tina Marks, who is an incredible person, podcaster, speaker. She's an amazing woman. Just take a quick question right here. What's the biggest mistake that young entrepreneurs make? To me, the 2 things that young entrepreneurs do, and I was one of them a long time ago because now I'm an old entrepreneur, is 1, they don't ask for help. And 2, they don't know the number 1 goal of being an entrepreneur, which is to stay in business. So if you can stay in business and ask for help, in other words, the easiest way to get to where you want to be as an entrepreneur is find someone that's already there and ask them for directions. So those are the 2 biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make. And I'm hoping that you ask for help. Reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com. Happy to send you my books, my guides, my exercises, all for free. I'll sign a book, send it to all of you, pay for shipping. I don't care. All right, let me bring on my good friend, Tina. How are you?
Hey, Tina, if you can unmute yourself, that'd be great.
Oh, if not, we can bring up, maybe she's had to step away. All right, we'll bring on Aaron then. Aaron, you ready? I do not.
Actually,
All right, what's up, Aaron?
hey, how you guys doing? I'm gonna be honest. I was a little surprised because I didn't have my hand up, so I just got pulled up. But I've seen David in some rooms, and I think Jake pulled me up. I do see Tina's mic unmuted, so she can definitely go ahead before me.
All right, we'll let Tina go, then you, Aaron. Thank you for being a gentleman. Hey, Tina.
Hey, I'm sorry. This is my first time on here.
Oh, right on. Well, if you've seen some of my first clubhouses, you will feel right at home. I screw it up all the time.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Thanks, Dave. Hey, listen, I was loving what you were just talking about, and today it's all been about synchronicity. It's just crazy what's going on. I mean, like, the Tom Ferry Elite Retreat's going on, and I happen to join, and out of thousands of people, the one who he calls on is my client. She's mentioned me, and then I just happen to jump on here. I'm ADD. I'm doing two things at one time, and then there you are. So, and then thirdly, what you were just talking about is getting out of the ego mind and not being a people pleaser. Just had this experience with my son yesterday. He got his first speeding ticket. And his dad really came down on him really hard, and as he does. Okay, and I had this talk with him. I said, because I had the same kind of father, and I, grew up with a lot of underlying anxiety. Now it's all kind of come to the surface. I have 3 kinds of ADD, and I beat myself up, and it's like that doesn't do any good for anybody. So please, everybody out there, listen to Dave's words. Really, don't go within. Harness your strength, and have that connection with yourself first, and then what everybody else says doesn't really matter so much, as opposed to like going for validation from outside first. It doesn't work that way. It's got to come from inside, and really, you don't want to go through life with anxiety. It's bad for your health. It's not going to get you anywhere in your mindset. So just really kind of wanted to tag along with what Dave was saying and just reinforce that.
That's awesome. And I really appreciate, as a parent myself, right, I have to remind myself 2 things. 1, my kids are not for me, they're through me. But 2, they don't listen to me, especially if I yell. Right. And what they do though, which changed my life as a parent, is when I realize my kids don't listen to me, especially if I yell, but they watch me. And so if they're watching me when they're having some of the biggest disappointments, challenges, or frustrations, if they watch me deal with that fear-based emotion by being a ferocious Buddha, it's the greatest gift of empowerment that I can give to the most important people in my lives, knowing that the only 4 things I want for my kids are health, happiness, love, and appreciation. And if I get those 4 things from my children, I'm all set, right? And I put too much false expectation on speeding tickets and coming home late and other stupid stuff that teenagers do, especially. And I forget that they're watching me, and I want to teach them to be ferocious Buddhas. And thank you very much, though, Tina, for coming on. And there are no accidents, right? What we pay attention to and give intention to are the coincidences. Keep these great coincidences occurring, and you come join me anytime.
I will. Thanks, Dave.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you, Aaron, for allowing Tina to slip in here as well. We got Aaron Boone.
Yes, thanks, Aaron.
Aaron,
No problem.
hey, buddy. Go back.
How you doing?
As you were saying, my friend.
Oh, actually, I had just got pulled up, so I was trying to get the gist of the conversation. I heard you say something about ego, so I was trying to kind of formulate a question, based around that. I just had a consultation call yesterday with a young lady who's in the music industry, but she wanted to. If you guys look at my bio, it says something about being unstuck or getting unstuck. So I just enjoy that. Doing that is helping get people unstuck. So she wanted a avenue of extra income, a residual income. So I gave her that on the call. But she also wanted me to, I'll just say she wasn't happy that I didn't call her Beyonce. So it was a little difficult, but I was able to navigate the call. So what would you say would be the balance of having that little ego, but then having too much ego?
Right. So for me, ego is always too much ego. And so define the ego to me is anytime I'm separate from or creating interference with or corrosion to the greatest source of light, love, and lessons, right? So if I believe neutrality and center, peace is truly my highest self, where I'm at my best, then anything that interferes with it becomes the target of my free will. Let me give you an example. A lot of people tell me they want to get healthy, right? They want to get healthy, where my perspective is, I'm completely healthy. How could I not be? I'm created and connected to the greatest source of love, light, and lessons. But what is it that's interfering with my health that I can get rid of or utilize my free will to substitute change or learn from. So would it be, not enough sleep, or do I drink too much, or am I not feeding myself correctly, or exercising myself correctly? And all of those things become the target in the focus of what I am. But my ego is that which creates the interference, those primary and secondary fears that create the interference, voids, and shortages from what we want that we already have. And it really does include staying in that great consciousness of truth and being at center and at neutral to do that. So let's try our best to be those ferocious Buddhas and spend minutes and moments in that state of mind, and you'll find that you'll get greater acceleration and growth. Okay?
I love that. I love that balance. I'm gonna stick around, listen a little bit longer. I just followed you on IG as well.
You're awesome. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, let me take a couple questions here. Then I'll bring up Josh Lewis. We'll bring him up. I'm going to answer this question. I like it. When you talk about guaranteeing value for clients, what does that entail? And this is a requirement that I have of the people I work with and work for. And either way is that I think that you should guarantee value. And the value that I like to guarantee is profit, quantitative value. And I never lock anybody in, nor will be locked in to any agreement, meaning I work month to month. I guarantee that value and profit, and I expect the people that I work with to do the same. And therefore, I don't have to worry about anything other than the quantitative value that I'm providing. Too many people focus in on that purple dinosaur, the subjective value. They oversell, back end sell, lie, manipulate, cheat. They tell a story, they create victims in their business opportunities, and they don't thrive. And they wonder why they end up in all types of different circumstances that are not valuable in a quantitative manner, meaning the reasons aren't quantified, the impacts aren't quantified, the capabilities aren't, and instead they're always overselling, back-end selling, lying, manipulating, and cheating, and wondering why there's always void, shortages, and obstacles in the business that they do. Set forth a business not only that you can guarantee value, not lock people in, but more importantly, have the capability of articulating the value to exceed what you're asking for, and then manage and develop that expectation and guarantee it. I'll repeat that one more time. The key to business is being able to articulate the quantitative value to exceed what you're asking for, manage and develop the actual value that you provide, and be able to guarantee it without locking anybody into anything. And you will thrive and succeed and exponentially grow in all, not only the business and value that you provide, but the ones that you receive as well, creating that expectations of those that you do business with. All right, now we have Josh on board here. Josh, what question you got for me?
Hey, Dave. Thanks for inviting me in on this meeting. I appreciate it. It's been really great so far.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, my question. Yeah, of course. My question is, what would you, tell the young entrepreneurs or just entrepreneurs in general going through, specifically I'm talking about COVID right now. Having an e-com business that was thriving, getting into 2020, and then 2020 hit. Is there anything specific you would tell an entrepreneur that maybe is experiencing something? This is obviously, hopefully, once in a lifetime situation, but going through a tough time that they should. Is there something specific they should focus on? Something they should, go back to the roots of the beginning
Love
of the
it.
business? What would you recommend?
Yeah, this is an important question for everyone because remember, there's always uncertainty. The only certainty that we have is created by forgiveness. The closer that we can get to forgive the unforgivable, the most certain our future will be. But more importantly, during this accelerated change, right? We are in a period of accelerated change, just like we have been in the past. This is where the margins of millionaires are made. This is where the greatest margins are created because things are oversold and overbought in times of accelerated change. And how do we take advantage of that? Let me explain very systematically to everyone to help them. Number one, take inventory of your capabilities. So we want to take inventory of the skills that we have today. We want to take inventory of the knowledge, not only the knowledge of what we know, but the knowledge of who we know, because you never know where those relationships, if we're asking for help from sponsors and power sponsors, can be the touch of favor, to accelerate and change our lives with just one little moment of time, one little touch of favor, and then take inventory of our desire. This is a perfect opportunity during accelerated change to say, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to take this chance. And if you take inventory of your capabilities, your skills, your knowledge of what and who, and your desire, you can align them with three things. Number one, find out what's synergistic or supplementary or aligned to what's doing well. Even though there's accelerated change, there's all these things that are doing super well right now. You might as well see what careers, industries, jobs, etc. are aligned or synergistic or supplementary to what you're doing well and what is doing well. Secondly, do the same thing, align, find what's synergistic or supplementary with your capability, skills, knowledge, and desire to what's stable, right? What's just hasn't changed. And you can provide that stability by aligning that in the careers, industry, jobs, etc. And then finally, what a great time to take chances in a portion or according to your time or risk tolerance to find the synergies and supplementary skills, knowledge, and desire to what? To what you think is going to do well in the future. And where do we find those, right? People ask me all the time, Josh, all right, great theoretical shit, Dave, but pragmatically, how am I supposed to find the careers, industries, and jobs that are aligned, synergistic, or supplementary to my skills, knowledge, and desire? It's real simple. I look at the stock market, right? And I look at the stock market and I see the top 50 performing stocks, what industries they're in, what careers they're in, what jobs are available within the context of those 50 companies that are doing really, really well. Then I look at what stocks have not moved in the last 3 years, 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, whatever it is. And I find once again what careers, jobs, industries, and skill sets I have that are aligned with the capabilities, desire, et cetera. And then finally, I look at the fastest crushed or fastest growing to determine, okay, this is oversold, right? Whether it's in any industry, stock market, determining the industry, the career, but you can tell, why is refrigeration such a big deal right now? I never would have invested in refrigeration, except for when I found out that the vaccine created and needed refrigeration. And so I started studying, paying attention to, and giving attention to that. If people get very pragmatic about themselves, taking inventory not only of their personal experiential giving and receiving values, but their capabilities, their skills, their knowledge of the what and who, and their desire. I've always wanted to blank, and find out how it's synergistic and supplementary to these three areas with careers, industries, and jobs. I promise you, in a matter of minutes and moments, you'll change your pessimistic or scared opinion or view into one of optimism or even toptimism. Does that help you out, Josh?
Yeah, that does a lot. That really does. I appreciate that.
You got it, my friend. Thanks. Keep on joining these. We love Clubhouse. Love the questions. Keep them coming. I'll bring up Kai. I hope that's how I pronounce it, KY. Kai Arnold, come on up. Let me take a quick question from the live training that we have. How to not feel bad when asking for help. I think the bigger question is, why do you feel bad asking for help? Right? Well, you're determining when you are feeling bad, first of all, you cannot feel bad enough to make someone feel good. We all know that. So when we feel bad, especially about asking for help, we should ask ourselves, why do we feel bad? What is it? Do we not feel worthy of everything we see? Do we not trust ourselves that everything we receive comes through us for others, that we're aligned with our intent to create goodness, to create value, to create abundance? If you truly believed that everything you receive was to help other people, then you would have such a great feeling about receiving, and you would be motivated to give the gift of others to help you. And the way that we ask for help, by the way, is a simple way, whether it's in person, on the phone, via email or media, radio, print, TV, social media, traditional, online, doesn't matter. All you got to do is remember this question, everyone. Do you know anyone that can help me? Do you know anyone that can help me? Expand everyone in the universe away from being a gatekeeper, trying to stop you or create interferences, voids, and shortages for you. Everyone on earth is like a tree, and a tree has no branches. One branch is not stopping another branch or starving another branch. We are all connected. So everybody is a sponsor and a power sponsor. Luckily today, everyone's connected to a minimum of about 1,000 people compared to when I was a child, and most people knew 3 or 4 people that they played cards with, went to church with, or played golf with. But instead, don't feel bad, feel great, make the investment in yourself, ask for help, ask, do you know anyone that can help me? Here we have Kai available. Welcome to my clubhouse, Kai.
Hey, Dave, thanks for having me. It was funny, I was just over on Instagram and I was on your live and I saw you were on Clubhouse, so I hopped over here. So thank you for providing this value in this forum. Quick question. The title of this session is Revenue and Happiness. Kind of where I'm at is trying to find a balance between the two. I'm a nurse in administration right now, working 5 days a week, 70, 80 hours a week, but I have a bunch of side hustles that I think could take off. Do I pause the revenue part right now because I'm making good money in pursuit of side hustle passions that would lead to greater happiness?
Oh man, I love it, man. So first of all, let's change your perspective. Everyone's perspective. Nobody here should ever work another day in your life. And it's not because you're going to love what you do. There's 2 reasons you're going to not work another day in your life. One, you're going to now describe your life as activity, and you're going to distinguish between activity you get paid for and activity you don't get paid for. And you're going to start training yourself to learn to love the activity you get paid for more than the activity you don't get paid for. A simple slip in perception, a simple switch and transformation that you can make. And then you're going to realize, just like in the movie The Miracle, the 1980 Olympic team, that the legs feed the lion. So instead of trying to distract yourself in these different side hustles, make sure that you're empowered by leaning in like you are to what feeds you. Meaning the 2 ways that we have more time to create more revenue is 1, time, and 2 is making more money. The more time you have and the more money you have, the easier it is to make more money and create more time. And by doing these side hustles, it will also allow you to focus in on or grow these side hustles. You cannot grow a side hustle unless you're willing to have the time and the money to do so. You can either get the time and the money by getting better at what you do, doing it faster and making more money, so you'll have more time and more money to support the side hustles, or make the investment in yourself. I've had some of my clients live in cars, save every penny that they had in order to effectuate giving themselves enough time and enough money to catapult their businesses or their side hustles into the exponential growth accelerator that allows them to keep doubling in a faster, more concerted space and focus for attention and intention. So my advice to you is to, number 1, no more work in your life. It's only activity you get paid for and you don't get paid for. And then lean in to whichever part will give you the best opportunity with time and money to effectuate all the different things that you want to do.
Got it. Great answer. Thank you, Dave.
You got it, my friend. Keep on joining me. And thanks for joining me on all the multiple platforms. I love the fact that people, when they see my face, they're like, maybe I'll catch Dave on Clubhouse. It's a lot more palatable. I appreciate the face for radio and Clubhouse. Dave Meltzer live. All right. Anyway, I'm going to bring up Gigi. She's one of my private group coaching clients from around the world. I'm also going to take a quick question as I bring her on. The question is, how do you determine your limitations? By perception. It's very important to understand that we perceive our limitations. We're the only ones that do it. I used to tell people all the time I was going to live to 111. I was born on January 11th at 1:11. I would even tell my kids that I'm going to die on January 11th at 1:11 p.m. when I'm 111. And Diane Cannon, who was in the movie Heaven Can Wait, she's one of my mentors and just a beautiful, beautiful person. We would share Laker seats. And I told her, she said something to me. I said, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to die till I'm 111. And she's got teary eyed. She said, why are you limiting yourself? I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, what if they have technology or medicine that the average person lives to 1,000? You've just limited yourself to 111 because you perceive that people aren't supposed to live to 111, and somehow that's a positive attribute. So we determine all limitations. We give meaning to everything that we see. The greater we are at exploding through the false pretenses of limitation, the greater the capabilities that we'll have and statistical success we'll have at doing things that nobody else has ever done. All right, I'm going to bring on my dear friend Gigi. She's part of my private coaching group. Gigi, what question do you have for me?
Hi, David. So for me, I wonder how important is first to validate what people are going through because there is such thing as toxic positivity and working with you and understanding the quantum memory that we all have helped me navigate this. So how do you start that process? Because we're all playing the game of I want that in the hope of feeling good. But if we don't feel worthy and all those stuff, we limit ourselves. So how did you start that process of quantum memory and shifting that paradigm in everything that you do?
Oh, I love that. Well, let me explain quantum memory to everyone just real quickly. So, we have a conscious that takes in 10,000 new thoughts a day. And the greatest disciplines, controls, and strategies in your life should be to only take in or surround ourselves with the right people and the right ideas, these 10,000 thoughts that we want for our future. This is where my saying, be kind to your future self, comes in, because we want to limit what we think, say, do, and believe, the people we're around, the ideas we take in, to the ones that we want for our future, because we're programming our perception or our future by the data points that we take in, the thoughts that we take in every day. That's our conscious mind. Our subconscious mind stores 40,000 of those thoughts that we take in every day. And the more that we take in the same thoughts every day, which is why we enjoy the consistent every day, persistent without quit, pursuit of our own potential, that consistent behavior, just like the book Outliers, just like we see all great entrepreneurs, celebrities, entertainers, athletes, billionaires, millionaires that are extremely consistent, that's because they keep activating the same 40,000 thoughts that are creating neural pathways in our subconscious so that things become automatic. But even more than automatic, what it does when we're consistent with those 40,000 the same thoughts, like you said, is it activates our quantum memory. It activates our DNA. It activates the epigenetic layer of our DNA. It activates our personality traits, our characteristics, our obsessions, our addictions. It actually is the reason why you wonder why people get stuck. And they tell me all the time, I think, I say, I'm doing the right things, Dave. I just keep getting the same results. Or even worse, I know someone that's not doing the right things, not saying the right things, and they get great results. Well, the reason is that over time, they've created a quantum frequency, a quantum memory, personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, addictions, and energy that's attracting this same result, good or bad. And so, in order to break through, we need to make sure that we are in control of what I call the conscious continuum, what we consciously take in every day. We use cancel, clear, connect. If you I'll send you my book because it's described completely in here how we can control the conscious continuum with canceling our negative thoughts, clearing our subconscious, and connecting to our frequency. I'll send that out to you. I'll sign it. I'll pay for shipping. I don't care. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Happy to send you that. But this process of canceling, clearing, connecting, controlling the data that is input into us through our conscious, stored in our intermediate memory, and executed as a beacon in our quantum memory or our DNA, this is what effectuates what we want and also the limitations that we give ourselves. All right. Did I lose Gigi? Hopefully that helped you. Oh, she's muted.
No, yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Gigi. We'll see you at our next group. All right. I'm going to bring up Danielle Gotha. Let me take another question from the training side of what we are. I heard you say find your frequency, but what does that truly mean? So frequency has three things. It has a powerful signal. It has a certain tuning, which is a spectrum, and it has a message. And what we want to do is know who we are, our frequency, our authenticity, our organic self by strengthening our signal, widening our spectrum, or knowing what that spectrum is, the demographics of what, who, and how we attract, and clarifying our message. Because remember, it's not what we say, it's what they hear. And so many times we think we're saying one thing and people are hearing another, and we wonder why we have such a separation or a disconnection between what we're trying to inspire or motivate and what the results are. So learn your frequency, learn to strengthen your signal, understand your spectrum, and clarify your message through consistent, persistent behavior. All right, I'm going to bring on Danielle Gotha. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate your time and energy today. And what I'm going to ask kind of flows right off of your frequency question you just dealt with. It's been really amazing through 2020 to see so many people take a leap into the entrepreneur world. I have been self-employed for 8 years, and hearing Kai share, I'm a former registered nurse, and I'm now a six-figure earner from home who has a child invading. I'm trying to hide, but he found me.
Awesome.
So my question real quick is, what is the best guidance or approach, hold on, baby, for people who are resistant to entrepreneurship and being self-employed? Like when they have no income coming in. So this is the best time for them to take a leap, but they don't have that belief in themselves, but they really need it right now.
Yeah, this is a great example. I always tell people to ask for help, but sometimes we have to encourage other people to ask for help, and we have to provide that help and that opportunity. And the best way that I have found is the 3 stages of learning. And the 3 stages of learning are applicable to this all the time. 1, invite people to shadow you. Wherever the understanding and alignment is needed, whether it's to be an entrepreneur, whether it's your children trying to convince them of some sort of activity that you would like them to participate in. One in first stage that I use is shadowing. So allow people to watch you. And then the second stage is participation. Allow them to work with you. And then you observe. And now you become the shadower as a third stage to help assist them and adapt and adopt and to understand and align. And those 3 stages, regardless whether it's to stop the resistance of entrepreneurship, of any new idea, of education, of, like I said, anything with your children, any type of exercise types of things when you're coaching, I use this 3-stage approach of inviting people to shadow me, invite them then to work with me when they learn and align, and then observe them to help them accelerate it so that they then can pass that through them to other people. This 3-stage process is also how we stop when we don't understand someone. So it's really about, in a higher context, it creates a platform so that we understand each other and then pray for each other's happiness or provide greater good to each other. And that's what that 3-stage process allows us to do. Okay?
That's perfect. And it's funny because a lot of people talk about going back to your roots. And as soon as you started going through those steps, it's what I used to do. It's what I did in the beginning. And you kind of, break away from some of those things as you progress. So that reminder was just what I needed.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you so much. I'm going to bring up Carrie Murphy and take a question from online as well while we wait for her to come on. Question is, how do you balance between patience, growth through segmentation, and not limiting yourself in terms of opportunity? One of the greatest conflicts, especially for hyper-aggressive, competitive, accelerated, self-actualizing people, is how do I balance that persistence with patience? And I think there's a 3-step process to this as well. 1, you have to be happy where you're at. And I know a lot of people skip step number 1. They don't take the time to be grateful, forgiving, and accountable for where they're at. In other words, that provides the happiness that I'm at the right place at the perfect time. You have to start there. Then if you can get to a place where you're happy where you're at the right place at the perfect time, now you can angle with everything you have, utilizing the law of Goya, get off your ass, everything that you have towards what you want. Notice I said angle. That is a combination of having a plan and having humility. Having a plan with humility means I'm going to angle to what I want, not go directly at it, through it, around it, over it, under it. I'm angling towards it because I know I don't know what I don't know. Therefore, I'm going to be humble, need to ask for help and learn along the way. And then the third step to balance patience and not limiting ourselves or holding back is that we need to have one thing that I live by with is faith. I need to have faith that if I am happy where I'm at the right place at the perfect time, giving everything I have to angle to what I want, I have to have faith that I'm going to end up somewhere better. Because if I know that I'm going to end up somewhere better than I want, it'll give me the patience to allow for that expansion growth instead of putting some sort of man-made construct or limitation on, I want to have $1 million by the end of the year, instead of I want at least $1 million as fast as I can. They have a different energy and perspective to it, and they require the same persistence and the same ferocious behavior, the same law of Goya. And then it just allows the law of attraction to work with you in a much easier context without resistance, voids, and shortages created by those man-made constructs. Great question. I'm going to bring on Carrie Murphy now. Carrie, what question do you have for me?
Hi, David. How are you? How's everybody doing?
Everyone's awesome, happy and healthy.
Great. So I have a question. I'm just going to ask it. How do you plan to change what you do today to grow your business for the future? This is for me, like asking you.
And just say that a little slower at the beginning. What do we do today? Say it one more time.
How do you plan to change what you do today to grow your business for the future?
Ah, that's beautiful. I plan on asking for help, spending the majority of my time being more interested than interesting, finding people that sit in a situation that I want to be in, that are in a place that I want to be, and have the radical humility to not only spend my time to find the who after I know my what, but to allow that person to help me with humility. The biggest problem that most people have in this situation, according to this question, is they're worried about the why. And what I say is, number one, that plan to change, I have to know my what. What do I want to change? Better diet, better health, better money situation, better real estate portfolio. What is it that I want according to my personal experiential giving and receiving values? But most importantly, before I get to the why or even the how, I need to know who's already there, because the fastest way to get there is to find someone that's there and ask them directions. So to effectuate the most change, the exponential growth and acceleration that I want, I need to know my what and then my who. Then I can pay attention to and give intention to how I'm going to get it, by most importantly for me, studying, paying attention, and giving intention to the coincidences of activities I have planned, activities I don't have planned, and of course my sleep, because my tomorrow starts today. If you want to effectuate the change in your life, know your what, find the who, and execute on the how, and you will get there in an exponential, accelerated manner. Does that sound fair, Carrie?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, cool.
One more
Yeah.
question?
Second questions cost $1 to your favorite charity, but go ahead, ask.
Okay. What do you do daily that gives you the success that you are looking for?
Meditation. So for me, finding my highest frequency at the beginning of the day, right? I do an unwinding routine at night. I always say my tomorrow starts today, 9 p.m. every night. I start unwinding so that I can prepare for a plateau and grow life. I do not want to live the myth of Sisyphus that Camus wrote about in The Stranger, where I, push a boulder to the top of the hill every day just to have it roll down to the bottom of the hill. I meditate every morning to take advantage of that unwinding routine, that conscious continuum when I sleep, so that I plateau and grow, that I have a baseline every single day. I meditate for 20 minutes. And just so you know out there, if you don't know my story, 15 years ago, I would have been the most resistant person that ever would talk about meditation. The person who taught me to meditate, she had to con me into meditating by telling me she could raise my awareness when to buy or sell. She made a pragmatic, quantified use of my meditation, but it has changed my life because I have been able to find my center, my neutrality, my higher self every day, and use that as a baseline so that I only spend minutes and moments outside of that productive, accessible, and gracious lens that I want to live my life in. I only spend minutes and moments creating interference and accelerating in the wrong direction. I only spend minutes and moments in fear. And so for me, you know, it doesn't have to be a coordinated meditation like I do. I use theta meditation, THETA, which raises my frequency and awareness. It literally can just be a walk with your dog, a swim in the pool, whatever it is that you enjoy. But make yourself plateau and grow. Don't live the myth of Sisyphus, and you'll have much more acceleration and expansion in your life.
Thank you. I meditate every day too, and also practice yoga.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, awesome. All right, I'm going to bring Billy Solaby up, and I'm going to take a question online in the interim as usual to get prepared. Bonnie's asking, my favorite part of 2 Minute Drill, our new TV show on Amazon, 3 episodes today. This is a setup self-promotion question, so I took it. 2 Minute Drill, my favorite part are the lessons that are learned. You know, 2 minutes, it's amazing how much I learn from these extraordinary judges that we have, from the TV show itself. But my favorite part by far is how many lessons. I've been on the other TV shows, you know, Elevator Pitch I produced. I've been on that there's 6 seasons now. I just never liked the funding facade. I didn't like the fact that, you know, the lessons learned weren't practical and utilized in the real world. Where 2 Minute Drill, when you got 2 minutes to pitch, you can use every lesson that's learned on this TV show. 3 episodes out today on Amazon Prime Video and on Bloomberg TV at 8:30 PST. Thanks for the self-promotion, giving me time to get Billy on board. All right, Billy, what question do you have for me?
Hey, David, good to see you. So my question is this. You mentioned earlier that the biggest mistake you see new entrepreneurs make is basically not asking for help. And I totally understand that and believe that to be true. And my question is this. I recently started a business, and it's been going very well. We've only been in business for a month, but so far we're lining up. We've just brought on our 9th client in just under a month. So my question is this. I definitely want to bring people into my orbit that can mentor me, coach me, help me, and guide me. I know how important it is. My challenge is, how do I identify the right person? Because even when I interviewed you, you said, you know, sometimes the people closest to you give you bad advice. So, and I don't think it's just the people closest to you. It's other people that you might not know their story. You might not know anything about them, but you trust them to give you advice. So how do you find the right person or people to help you with, for example, what I'm doing, which is starting a new business?
Well, I look for people that are in a position that I want to be in. So if I have a new business, I'm going to look for someone that may have had multiple experiences of starting a new business, growing a new business, scaling a new business, maybe some failures along the way. You know, I think one of my greatest values that I bring to people in business is I've lost everything. I've paid a lot of dummy tax. I always joke around, I can't pay your state or federal tax, but I've paid over $100 million in dummy tax, and that's worth something. And so I don't want you to make the same mistakes. I've dealt with hundreds of small businesses and startups and scaled them and grew them and had successes and learned my lessons along the way. And so not only do you want to find someone that has the experience, situational knowledge, but I like to find multiple people. I'd love in the importance in the mentorship for me is I will have 3 mentors for a certain purpose so that I can show variance, understand perspective, and pick what seems to be aligned with my values and my situation the most. And so I very, very, very rarely rely on one mentor for something that's very important. Now, if it's not important and I can get a quick mentorship on how to clean my barbecue, I'll go to YouTube and search clean a barbecue, and I'll trust the first one I see, or, you know, whatever it may be. But if it's talking about, you know, millions of dollars of investment or starting a new business or something that seems to be critical according to my values, I'm going to make sure I have 3 mentors, align them with my values, and ask the tough questions. I think another lesson in mentorship is the same lesson that I've learned in business. Trust every mentor that you have, but vet them hard. And I mean vet everyone. Make them guarantee your success. Make them not lock you in. Don't take excuses of how long it takes, or, you know, there should be an instant of value coming through them to you. So vet them. Don't think you're diminished in some capacity to not be able to ask the hard question or call bullshit on your mentor and say that doesn't align with what I think or my experience. And I think in every situation, the better you become at initially trusting people and then vetting them really hard, you're going to be much better off. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, no, I love the framework of trusting but vetting. That makes a lot of sense. If I may, just one very quick follow-up
Yeah.
to what you just said. So what, and if I had, say, for example, 3 mentors and I trusted and then vetted, what do you think is the best type of I guess timeline to follow with the mentorship relationship? What I mean by that is, weekly meetings and for how long of a period before I can really start to say this is working, because ultimately I understand that getting different perspectives is valuable, but I also want to be conscious of time and commitment, not only of their time, but also of my time. And clearly I want to make sure that I'm compensating the people that are giving to my life, but I also want to make sure that I'm not giving too much of both my time and my money. As I go through this, I want to make sure that I'm really conscious and intentional.
Great question. So one, you need to be in contact with a mentor, one-on-one mentor every day, be able to have access to them. I subscribe to a 5-minute phone call or 20-minute meeting, meaning that's the limitation that you need to be prepared if you're going to work with me, but I'm accessible 7 days a week. In a group setting, it's once a week for me, I think, maintains the continuity with the value. But you should receive value in every contact, meaning that you should come in with a question or an issue and you should walk away with value. And every single time, you should not have to wait months, years to find quantitative value. Quantitative value from a mentor that's providing it should be each time. You don't have to waste a lot of time doing it. You should be respectful of your mentor and their time by being concise. I know, I've had some pretty famous mentors that I've asked to mentor me, got their cell phone number, and the thing they appreciated was they were 2 or 3 minute calls every time. I have my own clients that I do one-on-one with, and one in particular, he calls me every day, but I don't think I've lasted more than, 90 seconds is the longest call that I've had, but I probably talked to him for the last 1,000 days of my life. So, make sure you have that guarantee of value, that you have accessibility in a one-on-one setting every day, 7 days a week, believe it or not, but be respectful of how long. Remember, after 5 minutes on the phone, you're just visiting, and your mentor probably has enough friends to visit with. So be concise, get to the business or life issue that you need to be resolved, and make sure that you guarantee value or make your mentor guarantee value to you.
Love it, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your guidance.
You got it, man. We have about 1 minute left. Hopefully I can squeeze Jeanette in real quick. Jeanette, you got a quick question for me?
Hey, Jeanette, if you're here, if you can just unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you for joining me, for letting me jump into the stage. I'm new at Clubhouse, and I'm just jumping into different rooms to learn. Today I'm a little bit more I think I'm a little bit vulnerable today, but my question was, what did you do when you lose a 20-year-old job? Now you're trying to be your own boss, full of fears, lost, and incapable.
Yeah,
That's my question.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times when we go through major transitions, you have to look at it as an opportunity. And so what we want to do is we want to be blessed that everything happens for a reason at the right way at the perfect time. And every time something substantial has happened to me, it may just be a matter of time before it reveals the light, the love, and the lessons. What do I mean? Pain is not a stop sign. This pain that you're going through right now is not a stop sign. It's a turn signal. And it's indicating that you have a lesson to learn to get to a better place, a better situation, or make your situation better. So when we have these major life changes, and a lot of people are losing loved ones right now, a lot of people are losing their jobs right now, a lot of people are moving right now. These are major life changes, but they're not stop signs. They're opportunities, they're indicators, they're turn signals. And you have to take the perspective with gratitude to find the light, the love, and the lessons, forgiveness to find the peace in the mistakes that you made, and the certainty of your future with faith that it's going to be better. Accountability, that you yourself need to look and say, what did I do to attract this change to my life? And what am I supposed to learn from it? This is a turn signal to something better. And then finally, use motivation to get back up, get back started, gets back started, whatever it is. Use motivation, whatever type of motivation it is, and then use inspiration, the ability to know that you have faith you're going to end up somewhere better, that life is coming through you, that the world is abundant, there's more than enough of everything for everyone, and you are radically humble to ask for help, find those sponsors and power sponsors, and keep on accelerating, utilizing the law of gravity, that everything's going to be attracted to you. The law of Goya, you're going to get off your ass motivated and inspired, right? And allow the law of attraction to attract the bigger, the better, the brighter into your future. You can do it. I'm promising you. Take this perspective, utilize motivation and inspiration, all of those values of gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration in order to put yourself into a better situation. What an extraordinary opportunity you have now, and someone's given you the gift of change. Take advantage of it. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. We're a little bit over time. Thank you. Thank you, Clubhouse. Thank you, IG Live. Thank you, my Zoom webinar. We get thousands of people registering at david@dmeltzer.com. Next week's training and Q&A is on mommy issues. So we're on mommy issues next week. We'll have Q&A. We'll have a little bit of an instruction. 2-minute drill. Check it out. Amazon, 3 episodes. Bloomberg tonight, 8:30. Episode number 3 will air on Bloomberg TV. Get my books, guys, exercises, all for free. david@dmeltzer.com. Join my text community, 949-298-2905. All of the replays of my celebrity guests, entertainers, athletes, millionaires, billionaires, entrepreneurs, and all my trainings are featured on the Playbook. Just search the Playbook, featured on Spotify, featured on Entrepreneur, featured on every platform. Join me on Clubhouse, 6 a.m. on Fridays and 11 a.m. Pacific time on Fridays as well. That's it, everyone. And most importantly, everybody, reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com. But most importantly, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
This January comes the next hit business show, 2-Minute Drill. 4 companies will have 2 minutes to pitch their business, competing for $50,000 in cash and prizes. Will they rise to the occasion or crumble under the pressure?
You want to give yourself a critique of what?
Crunching your way to a healthier new you.
This is a great idea. Too bad you have it.
David Meltzer hosts 2-Minute Drill.